Everyone who saw the photo called it the most beautiful thing they had ever seen. A golden retriever curled around a sleeping newborn on a pink blanket, the baby sleeping, the dog watching. Nobody thought to ask why the dog was choosing that specific distance, that specific angle, that specific vigil, every single night. Nobody except the sleep specialist, Helena Marsh, had been an early childhood sleep researcher for 11 years before she became a mother. She had published work on infant sleep architecture, on the role of environmental factors in neonatal rest quality, on the way an infant's autonomic nervous system learns to regulate itself in the first weeks of life. She knew this subject the way most people know their own name, which is why when her golden retriever, a 5-year-old named Birch, began sleeping beside her newborn daughter Cora on the floor beside the bassinet, Helena watched him with more than just affection. She watched him the way she watched Data. The pattern became clear by day 4. Birch positioned himself parallel to the bassinet, his body angled so his head was adjacent to Cora's head, about 22 centimeters of distance. He breathed steadily. The baby breathed. This continued every night, without variation. Helena's mother, who came to help the first 2 weeks, called it guardian angel energy and took 17 photographs. Helena's husband, Rodrigo, who worked in civil engineering, called it sweet and meant it. Helena called it, I need to understand the mechanism. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. She set up a second monitoring device, not a commercial baby monitor, a research-grade audio sensor from her own lab equipment. She ran it for 11 consecutive nights. What the sensor captured was this. Birch's breathing rate, steady at 12 to 14 breaths per minute during his own sleep, would change when Cora's breathing became irregular. During the brief apneic pauses that are normal in neonatal sleep, the 1 to 3 second cessations that an infant's immature autonomic system produces routinely, Birch's breathing rate increased slightly. His body would shift, almost imperceptibly, 6 to 8 centimeters closer to the baby. Not enough to make contact, enough to change the air composition around her. He did this, on average, 11 times per night during the first 2 weeks. Helena contacted Dr. Priya Sundaram, pediatric sleep medicine, Stanford, with whom she had co-authored 2 papers. She sent her the audio data and the position records. Dr. Sundaram called her on a Wednesday morning. She said, what your dog is doing is called social respiratory entrainment facilitation. It has been documented in several mammal species, but has only recently been studied in dogs. The dog's breathing, at close proximity, creates a mild CO2 gradient in the air around the infant that nudges the infant's chemoreceptors toward regular respiratory rhythm. In neonates, whose autonomic regulation is still immature, close proximity breathing from a larger mammal provides a subtle physiological scaffold for the infant's own emerging rhythm. She paused. Your research background is why you noticed it. Most parents just call it sweet and take a photograph. Has your dog ever done something with your baby that everyone called adorable, but turned out to have a real biological reason? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Helena had called it sweet too, for 3 days. She had taken photographs, but 11 years of reading sleep data had put a question in the back of her mind that she couldn't stop looking at. Birch continued his vigil for the first 8 weeks. As Cora's autonomic system matured, as her breathing became more consistent, her pauses shorter, her regulatory capacity stronger, Birch's proximity shifted. 6 centimeters further, then 12. By week 10, he was sleeping across the room in his normal spot by the door, as if he knew the scaffolding was no longer needed. Dr. Sundaram said, in a later email, the self-regulation of proximity is the most remarkable element. He provided the support, and then removed it on a biologically appropriate schedule. We don't fully understand how he calibrated that. We are working on it. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Cora is 6 months old. She sleeps deeply. 10 hours, the organized sleep architecture of an infant whose system knows how to regulate itself. Birch sleeps by the door. Helena has a framed photograph on her desk. Birch curled beside Cora on the pink blanket, both asleep. The expression on Birch's face what everyone called peaceful. She knows now it was not just peaceful. He was working. The next story involves an English bulldog who started acting strangely around a toddler at a family gathering, and the secret that came out 3 days later in a hospital room.